Hey guys, today I just wanted to tell you about 10 new plants that I am currently really loving. These are plants that I just find myself very drawn to lately, so I thought I would share them with you and maybe you will feel the same draw to them that I do. Who doesn't love a good plant recommendation? And while we're here, please leave a comment down below with some of the plants that you are currently loving right now. I love a good plant recommendation, so I will be reading through all those comments, and I really appreciate you leaving them. And huge thank you to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your individual needs. Not only that, they are shipped right to your door, so it's super convenient. Even though I have two very young kids, I do feel very well rested, and I do contribute a lot of that to my mattress. I've been sleeping on this Helix mattress for well over a year now, and I can confidently say that it is so... where do I begin? Incredible, comfortable, relaxing, soothing, caressing. It just holds me. Since everyone has their own sleep preferences, Helix came up with a sleep quiz, which you can take on their website, and it will match you to a mattress that they feel is the perfect fit for you. Ryan and I were matched to the Midnight Luxe mattress, and we are both incredibly happy with it. If you're a little bit worried about buying a mattress online that you haven't tried out in person before, don't worry, because they do offer a 100-night sleep trial as well as a 10-year warranty. You have a little over 3 months to try out the mattress. If you don't end up loving it, they'll pick it up for you and you'll get a full refund. And the best part is Helix delivers the mattress directly to your door for free anywhere within the US. It comes rolled up in a box and is super easy to get set up. Head to helixsleep.com/HarliG for 20% off your mattress and 2 free pillows. And they have financing options as well as flexible payment plans. Link will be in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the comments. Thank you so much, Helix, but let's get back into the plants. Okay, number 1 on my list right now is my Adenia glauca. It is a little bit floppy because it was thirsty. I did water it by now, but it's still a little flippity floppity. I just love the shape of this plant. It's like kind of chubby here down at the bottom, thins out toward the top, and then boom, the leaves on this actually remind me of that show with the little dinosaurs, and he like drinks some water out of the leaf and it looks like the most crisp water and yummiest leaf I've ever seen in my life. If you know what movie that is, please share. Reminds me of that, and I think it's so cute. This has actually been a fairly easy plant for me. I will say that it needs watered kind of frequently. I think that was my bad. I put it into a little bit too airy of a mix. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so glad I bought this. I highly recommend it for everyone. Highly recommend. Oh, it's so cute. Love it. Love it. Oh. Dang it. I just watered it. It's leaking. Let me plug it up with my finger. Okay, so this plant does not look like much right now, and it's kind of funny because I actually bought this plant at the same time as the Adenia glauca, but I already know I absolutely love this plant, and like I said, it is looking a little bit sad right now because this leaf just died off. It did recently put out this new leaf. This is a Uliarum Donburnsii, I think is how you pronounce it. It has the shape of a syngonium, which y'all probably know how much I love syngoniums. The leaves are quite a bit more thick than I just keep comparing it to a syngonium because I do think they have similar looks, but the leaves are quite thick and sturdy compared to a syngonium leaf. I wish I had filmed this sooner so this leaf hadn't died off, because when it had the 2 leaves, it was especially cute. As it matures, the newer leaves will get a really pretty marking right here that kind of turns silver, and then the leaves get much darker than this. It just has a super beautiful contrast as it gets older. Very, very excited for this to get to that point. It's been very easy, and it makes me so happy. The third plant is my Philodendron Rugosum. I know, I've been talking about this plant so frequently on my channel lately, but it's because this plant just calls to me. Like, I don't know, I just am really pulled to this plant, and I think it's because the leaves are so big and like wide. The green is just so crisp and the texture looks so cool. It just, oh, I don't know what it is. I know it's a little bit harder to get a hold of, but if you find one of these available, like I 10 out of 10 recommend picking it up. I think it's a very cool one. This one might be a little bit surprising for this list because it is like pretty basic of a plant, but it is my variegated curly spider plant, and I haven't even repotted it from the plant I bought it in at Lowe's. It did have some of these little spider babies on it when I bought it, but it has just pushed out so many spider babies. That's part of the reason why I don't want to repot it, because if these are a little bit root bound, established in a pot, then they do push out babies a little bit more freely. So just a little tip there, if you want your spider plant to put out babies, keep it in a little bit more compact of a pot. The mother plant itself is just a little bit, I don't even want to say boring, because it's totally not boring, but it doesn't stand out super much to me. The way it pushes out these little plantlets makes it super unique. So weird looking and cool, and I love when plants have weird shapes to them, and I think this just has such a weird shape with the little spider babies. Oh, whoa, but okay, this one's a big plant, but I'm still gonna bring it to you. Look, it's getting a new leaf right here. That's exciting. This is my Monstera escuelito, which would you look at this? Like, if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you probably already know how much I love Monstera adansonii, specifically the wide form, but this is just a wide form Monstera adansonii on steroids or something. The leaves are just so huge and holy, and I don't want to use the word veiny, but they're veiny. I don't know, I guess the texture of the leaves is what I mean. I was kind of worried when I got it because I've heard they're a little bit more finicky. It's so far been awesome, and it has like, this is a new leaf since I've had it, and now it's pushing out this one. This one over here is also a new leaf, the one I was messing with earlier. So it's a fun, fairly fast growing plant, and I've had no issues with it at all. So I do recommend it. Like the Rugosum, I do think it's one that's a little bit more difficult to get a hold of, but if you get the opportunity, I say definitely don't pass it up, because it is a wonderful plant, especially if you're someone that likes fenestrated plants. What do you think? Couldn't do this video without speaking on my Passiflora trifasciata. Yes, I still do have the beaded trellis thing for this plant. I just took it out so I could bring it to you for this video. It has kind of like duck feet or dinosaur feet shaped leaves. The contrasting on these leaves is so cool. I don't think my camera is going to pick it up exactly, but they do actually have a little bit of a purple tint on the other underside. Oh, it does kind of pick up. Well, a little bit. If you're looking at it in real life, it does have a really cool purple tinge, and I love the growth pattern of this. You can see like these new leaves are coming in quite small. It doesn't have very high of sunlight where I have it sitting. I think in the warm months it may start growing in a little bit bigger, but I love how compact the leaves are coming in, and I don't even mind how small they are. In fact, I think they're pretty cute. What I especially love about this plant, which is kind of random, I don't know what these things are called, but if you look really, really close up to it, you can see all of these little stringy things, like they're super fine little hair things. These shoot out of the stems looking for something to cling on and wrap around so it can climb up things. So I really love plants that, like, you look at the plant, you're like, oh, it's a plant, but then the more you look at it, the more like small little things like that you notice. I probably water this thing like double compared to the rest of my plants. Be warned, if you're somebody that doesn't like to have to water your plants every few days, this may not be the plant for you, but if you're somebody that loves to care for your plants constantly, this is a great option, and it has been a great addition to my collection. So I highly recommend, highly, highly recommend. Like, ooh, the dark leaves with the lighter markings on the inside is so, wow. This next one is a little bit like random because I don't actually have varieties on these, but I love Sansevieria right now. Actually, one of these isn't even a Sansevieria. I believe this is a Haworthia. I'm gonna still include, it's more so the growth pattern of these plants that I'm loving right now. These two are Sansevieria though, for sure. This one and this one. I love little like succulent plants like this that have thick, kind of shorter, are they called leaves? I don't know if Sansevieria things are called leaves, but that have the shorter, like more stout leaves that grow super compact. And a big reason I love them is because they're perfect to put into like small planters. I think that these are just the perfect little addition to like fill in around the rest of your plants. Yeah, where it's not exactly exact IDs, because like I said, I have no idea what the IDs of these are. It's this kind of growth pattern. If you know of any cool varieties that have this kind of growth pattern, please share. Please share. I need recommendations. I need them. This may not look like much. It is a Adenia and Uliarum, very different from any of the other plants I have. I love all of my plants, but there's just something about a plant that like really stands out among the masses that I love. So that's why I like this one. And not only that, it is a little bit weird because it has this nut thing that it grew out of. I think that's really cool. And it is actually a very low maintenance plant. I've had no issues caring for this, just how I do like the typical plant. That's really nice when there's something so unique looking that doesn't require like crazy care. And it kind of has that like palm fern shape where I don't do well with palms or ferns. Solves all my problems. And I'm about to eat my words because I just said I don't do well with ferns, but here we have an asparagus fern that is actually very easy. You know, asparagus ferns are different because I have another asparagus fern variety down in my basement that's doing just fine. It's just the regular ferns, I guess. It reminds me of like the Lion King for some reason. Those trees that you see on the Lion King, how they grow. It also kind of looks like a cloud. It shoots out these runner things which just look like a bare stem for a while, and then they'll start opening up these things, the little frond leaves. Pillowy. It's so fine and fluffy. This is probably the closest I'll ever get to touching a cloud. Okay, this last plant on my list probably doesn't look like much right now, and there are two reasons for that. So number one, let me just say my basement flooded. This plant actually lives in my basement. We had like inches of water down there, so all of my plants got neglected while we were trying to deal with that. At the same time, I was sick. My plants that live downstairs are looking very, very rough right now. That's why some of the leaves are looking a little weird. The second reason this may not look like much right now, you'd probably see it and be like, why is that on your favorites? Is because this is not a super mature form. This is a very young plant. So right now it just kind of has like barely ruffled leaf edges, which don't get me wrong, are cute. And I still do enjoy this plant right now. I am just so excited for this sucker to grow up because as it gets bigger, the like lobes, these little curls on the edges of the leaf get more and more pronounced. So you end up with like really cool, spaced out, long, loby looking leaves, which I am very, very excited for. So that is actually why this plant is on my list, because it's one that I am very excited for it to get big. So with each new leaf it pushes out, I'm like, yes, celebrate it, because we're just getting closer and closer to the form of plant I'm wanting. Not that I don't love this as it is. I promise, I still love it. And I typically don't go for plants with the growth pattern like this, but the Xanadu is one of the few exceptions to that general preference I have for plants. Those are the 10 plants I really wanted to tell you about today. Please let me know what you think of my picks. Are any of them new to you that you haven't heard of before? Again, please leave a comment with your current favorite plants. Any plant recommendations you have for me or others, please share. Yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!